My name is Jeff Hayes, and this is a video, and I had a theme to it and everything. I was going to do a whole skit on it, and I decided not to. Uh, it's about uh, being careful about telling a lot or committing sins and stuff like that. Gossip is the worst one. You say it loud enough in front of the wrong people, they can turn you in for slander. If it's even bad gossip about somebody, it's just not true, because that's slander. Gossip is pointed out in the Bible, and it tells you not to do it because it says when you take somebody else's sin into your mouth and you repeat it, when you repeat gossip that you don't know anything about, you're committing a sin against somebody because it's called bearing false witness against your neighbor. And, it's bad. And people try to tell me gossip, and I say, did you witness this? No. Then I don't want to hear it. And I give them a lecture on gossip. So I've worked at different jobs and stuff, different positions, and I've been in situations to where during the course of performing my duties, I've been instructed to basically discipline or terminate somebody. And I know the person hasn't done anything wrong because I'll ask them, I'll be like, well, what did they do? So far as I know, they haven't done anything wrong. I had one boss tell me, well, I want you to fire that guy because they were laughing at me. And I said, what do you mean they were laughing at you? He goes, when I came down that production ramp, the ramp to the production area, they were laughing at me. And when they saw me, they stopped. I said, come on, Ken. If they were laughing before you came in here, they definitely weren't laughing at you. And because they stopped when they saw you, it's because they're probably waiting for you to say something. Like tell them to get busy or, whatever, give them some instructions. So I checked into it, and yeah, it was just one of those. Ken was being paranoid. I see that all way too often. People like walk by other people in the crowd and like stop laughing or stop talking. It's like they're talking about me. It's that paranoia stuff. So, and I respectfully decline. I'll be like, well, all respect, I'm gonna have to decline due to my faith. Because if you're asking me to do this and you don't have all this thing on it, and you're just wanting to fire them, and you want me to lie to them or something like that, or fire them wrongfully fire them, terminate them, I said, I can't do that. That's against my faith. I'm not going to sin against somebody in no job. Because if your company's doing everything the way it should be, and your employer is, and they're not sneaking around, sending registered mail to the wrongful addresses just so that you can get a judgment against somebody. If the business you work for or the company you work for are doing everything legal, there's no way you should accidentally, be doing something like a sin against somebody. But around this area, you got to be careful. And there was supposed to be phenomenons and all stuff like here. I had helicopters and everything. And what the phenomenon was is that, people were walking out of this notorious building here, and a demon was coming out, smoke, fire, and then the people were disappearing. Like, I guess what would happen if they were, like, transported to hell or something, or to a volcano, who knows. I just put it on there for effects. Like I said, I had a whole theme I was going to do, and I was like, screw it. I'll just tell the content. So be careful about when you gossip. Make sure don't be a sucker and be taken in by gossip. Make sure you always find out the truth, and because if you repeat gossip and it's not true, then you're committing a sin against somebody. And you can't ask forgiveness for that sin because you got to make things right with the individual you committed the sin against. And then you can ask the Lord to forgive you. Because you can't bypass that person. You have to make things right with him, with the individual you sinned against, or property damage or whatever, You got to make, restitution or whatever. But you can't bypass individuals. The Bible tells you that. And as far as I've seen on a Midnight Evangelist, TV evangelist, oh, the Lord's merciful and everything. There's no part in any part of the Bible I've ever read where our Lord was directly involved with somebody or something like that, and he was merciful. Just look at Moses through the Exodus when he tapped that stone a second time to draw the water. He was told, "Listen, guy, you're not going to live to see the promised land because you, in a split second of doubt." And a lot of them say, "Well, all you got to do is ask forgiveness, and He'll give it to you." No, you got to repent, and that's covered in the Old Testament. Details and all this stuff. So, if you sin against somebody, that sin stands until you make it right by that person. And to date, there's nobody on this planet that I need to be forgiven for, because I don't. That's a debt you don't want it to accumulate. Besides, I don't get up and look for reasons to wrong people anyway. As far as I remind people of their wrongful stuff, and yeah, you need to come clear this stuff up, make this stuff right, and all this other stuff will go away. But until you do, I'm just going to remind you of it. I'm not going to go to your place of business or whatever. I just put something up on YouTube. I'm sure somebody's paying attention for you. So this is what I'm talking about as far as be careful at the workplace. Be careful just listening to it, and make sure any sins you commit against anybody, that you clear them up right away. Because if they move or something happens to them, then you lost your chance to be forgiven for that sin. And if you're one of them people think, "Oh no, they'll never find her," well, because we're in our trials and tribulations right now. We are being tested and evaluated at this time right now. And as far as people bearing witness against you, your soul will tell on you, because the Bible talks about it being of heaven, and it won't lie to the Lord. So everything you've done, good and bad, there's a record, because you'll bear witness against yourself. Yeah, I remember this building here. Yeah. Freaking notorious un-American. Still can't find any righteous people. I'm kind of waiting for, the same thing that happened here that happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. Have somebody with a, hood and everything come up and say, "I need you, is there 5, trustworthy people, righteous people?" I'll be, "Stop right there, dude. You just tell me which way to walk to where I won't be involved in this, and I won't turn around and look, and just take care of business, because I've been looking for a righteous or, honorable person with integrity since 2014, and I ain't found one of them that's willing to stand up. Actually, I ain't found one of them that's in a position that they want to stand up." I said, "So just take care of it, dude." Because I've been looking for a righteous or trustworthy or whatever person to help me since 2014. So I'll save you some time, man. Just eliminate the town stuff. Just let me point me in the direction I need to be walking, and so I don't have to look back, and just waylace to it, just like you did Sodom and Gomorrah. I've been opening that up because I'll be willing to tell them right then and there. Let me tell you something. Don't waste your time. I've been looking for those kind of people since 2014. I mean, don't even go through that 20, 15, 10. Just do what you got to do, dude, because I've been looking since 2014 and I ain't found them. And the people I thought aren't, or they won't do anything because they don't want to get involved, because doing the right thing's not the way to do things in Oklahoma. It's doing what everybody else is doing. And so everybody else is just walking around with blinders on and not seeing the corruption and all this other stuff and trying to do business as usual. And that's why there's no really successful business big companies and stuff in Oklahoma. This state is like the 11th corrupt state. It's number 11 on the corrupt states in the union. It's almost number 10. I think Stitt or whatever governor's name is, he says, I'll make this state one of the top 10. Well, it's almost one of the bottom 10. And everybody thinks that, don't let nobody know what's in here. Everybody in different states knows what's going on here because this court system has screwed a lot of people over, and they've left and went back to their home states, and I'll tell you what, they've told people, sure of it. And the border states know what's going on. And certain individuals have made it my job to inform America what's going on because they involved me in something I shouldn't have been involved in because there was no evidence on it. Yeah, probably that guy. Now see, there's 3 of the characters that I'm using in this, and I'm not going to name names on them, but they were used in a video, my preliminary hearing video. If you want to know what their names are, just look at what they look like in this video, and then look back at my preliminary hearing video, and it's 3 of those characters. Yeah, girls in the court's clerk office. I don't know if they got education problems or not. I got a video coming out on that. I was going to address that. It's going to be connected to some other stuff too, but... Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate to you how people can sin against you and make somebody else's sins their sins against you. And that's by, the same principle as spreading gossip. They don't think about it, or, they just don't do their jobs and go along with it, or they were in on it to start with. And this goes through it. This is like a breakdown of gossip. The Bible it names gossip by name. And it tells you, right, take somebody's sin into your mouth and repeat it, and you make their sin your sin, and against that person, and until you repent, and that means you have to come clean with that person. Say, oh, I'm sorry, I repeated gossip about you, dude. And then here's how a sin flow chart, how the sinners in a Bryan County District Court house all sinned against me. You got the original sinners. John Roy, Drew Hell, Emily Redmond, Tim Webster, Rocky Powers. And these are the original sinners. And then we're going to see what sin they committed against me. Since they falsely accused me without any evidence, it's called bearing false witness against your neighbor. It's the same as gossip. And it's the original sin, and I'm the one being sinned against. So, it goes to the regular hearing. Now, had I known what kind of person Campbell was, I'd have stuck with the jury trial. So Mark Campbell, puts on a show. Emily Redmond puts on the worst acting performance in her life. Doesn't get the Emmy. But Mark Campbell convicts me without any evidence. So since he sided with the original sin, then he made their sin his sin. So he sinned against me. And I've broken this evidence stuff down for him so easy. I can get like a 9th grader, a 10th grader, and a 5th grader to overlook it, as long as the 9th grader and the 10th grader have reading comprehension skills. And the 5th grader's just, afloat, just if we need something. So then the OCCA, the judges there, they sinned against me because they didn't even look at the evidence, and they sided with the original sinners with the sin. I said, yeah, he's guilty of that. Well, no, I'm not. Look at the evidence. Don't you guys have education or something? And that's because judges don't go against other judges in Oklahoma. That's why if they offer you a judge trial, turn it down. It's a scam because the judges in the OCCA won't even bother to look at the evidence. They'll write some of this my butt versus your face kind of deal, and because the only way they can use this versus that is if the cases are identical, and they try to use it in mine. I tell them, what, these people were framed too? That's the only way that work in mine. Look at the evidence. I broke it all down for you. Even got your Title 21 statute of crimes and punishments. Read what the criteria is for the evidence in each one of these. You guys don't have it. I mean, this, I mean, in TV, you'll see where they like try to put it like real close. You know, it's almost there. Well, this evidence here is about like 20, 30 freaking thousand miles away from being the actual evidence that would be used. Because the evidence in Title 21, Crimes and Punishment, it tells you the criteria that the evidence has to meet before you can charge somebody with an individual crime, with a certain crime. And if it doesn't meet it, you can't charge them. And it states there in the booklet, this is written in everyday language to avoid misinterpretations or people like fabricating it. I mean, it's written in everyday language. And that's to keep them college people and other people from using them words that have like 20 million different languages or meanings on it. So it's spelled out in regular, you know, they're not using homonyms or synonyms. It's just everyday language. So Emily Redmond and Mark Campbell, his job was to check the DA. You know, that's part of his job as judge, is make sure the evidence fits with charges. Because not only is he mediator, he's also to make sure that the rights of the defendant are being, you know, kept, keeping the DA in line, make sure the public defender is defending his client. He's responsible for a lot of stuff. And one of them is to verify the evidence to make sure it fits the crimes that the individual being charged with. Because if he sits over this case and it comes back that this evidence doesn't meet, then that looks him look like an incompetent boob. And then again, if he made a incorrect ruling on it, that makes him look even worse. But they don't care here, you know. They don't. Oklahoma, they don't. The judicial system, the DA, they don't follow their own laws. I mean, the DA in every other state I've lived in, they're like the morality checker of the community. But the DA in this area, I mean, if they can't find crimes, they just fabricate it, and then they charge the American citizens that are residents here. A lot of these people just keep putting up with it. I mean, I can read. I don't need to go to law school. That's all you got to do is read the Title 21. And if they're trying to sell you some song that, well, in occasion of 3 moons, and if the moon sits over here on a Thursday, and the cow in the pasture over there's got its, you know, backed up against the fence, that's where this crime and that evidence fits. It's like, no way, dude. It doesn't meet the criteria. I want a jury trial. So in Bryan County, Oklahoma, or in Oklahoma anywhere, any trial, I don't care what you're being taken to court for, jury trial. Don't let the DA or the judge, because apparently they don't know, they can't read. So here's some more, of my YouTube playlist, if you want to see what I'm talking about, and verify. Yes, these people have criminal acts. Apparently they can't read. They wrongfully accuse this guy, and it won't be gossip because there's irrefutable proof on them. I'd like to thank you all. Have a nice day, and keep the faith.